So here I have the script that we wrote in one of our previous lectures. So what this script does is that it reads a CSV file using pandas and stores that CSV file as a data frame in Python. And then we loop through the columns of this data frame and we execute the new point method for each row of the columns. And then we save the generated KML file, which will contain the points given the coordinates that were located in the CSV file. In this lecture, I'll show you how to make a graphical interface. And the graphical interface you'll make is this simple window here, which has two buttons. And then we will make these buttons functional in the sense that when you click them, they'll do something, as you might guess now. So let's go ahead and do that. And so, to make graphical interfaces in Python, there are quite a few libraries which you can use. A very simple library, however, which is very preferable by programmers, and by me eventually, is Tkinter. Tkinter should be already installed with your Python, and so you can just go ahead and import it. Now, the very first thing that you want to do after having imported the Tkinter library is to create an empty window. And the way to create that is that you assign the window to a variable, let's say root, and that will be equal to Tkinter library.tk. So tk is the method that creates a window. And then you always apply the main loop method to the window object, just like this. What main loop basically does is that it keeps the window on the screen until the user presses the close button. So let's execute this now, and we get this very simple window which has nothing in it. Now you want to add things into the window, and these things are called widgets in Python. So you want to add some buttons, these buttons are called widgets. You want to add some text in the window, this text is called a label, and it's still a widget. So I'm going to close this now. And the first thing, however, is to add the title property. And to add a title, you just refer to the root object and then to the title method, and then you just pass the title inside the quotes. Let's call it KML generator. Execute to check, and we don't have the title that we assigned. And that's because you assigned the title outside of the main loop. So this is another reason why main loop exists. So if you have multiple windows in a script that you want to create, you put all the code of these windows between the tk method here and the main loop method. So now we execute and we have the title. Good. Now let's go ahead and add a label to the window. And what you want to do is store the label in a variable, which I'll call a label. And then you refer to the Tkinter library and access the label method. Now what the label takes as arguments is the name of the window object, which is root, and then you need to pass the text argument, which is a string, and here you pass what you want to write. So let's say this program generates a KML file. Good. Now you have created a label object, but you haven't packed it. So what you do in Python, you create a widget and then you pack it using the pack method. That's it. Let's execute. And so we have some text here. Great. Now it's time to create a button. So to create a button, you use the button method. So just to remind you, what we're trying to do here is create a graphical interface with a browse button and a KML generator button. And when we press the browse button, we want our program to prompt us to select the CSV file that we want to convert to a KML file. So the browse button will ask us for the file input. And then when we press the KML generator button, we will trigger Python to actually execute the conversion between the CSV file and the KML. So basically when we press the KML generator button, Python will execute these lines of code. However, for now we're just creating the graphics. So let me call the button browse button, and that will be equal to the tkinter.button. And then again we pass the window object, which is root, and then the text parameter, which will be browse. Great. And don't forget to pack the button and execute to see what happened. So we have a window with a button, which doesn't do anything now, because we haven't assigned any command to the button. So in order for the button to do something, you have to add another parameter here called command. And that will be equal to some function that you have defined in the script. However, I'll leave this empty for now, and I'm gonna go ahead and create another button, let's say camel button. I'll just copy this and I'll call this camel button. And I want to change the text, of course. Let's say generate camel and see what we got. So we got 2 buttons. So that's what I wanted to show you in this lecture, and in the next lecture we will see these buttons in action. See you later.